Okay. Thank goodness we got this all going. I need to see what I got. This might stain better, so I'm going to try using this. Granted, I need to get a lot of paint onto the actual palette and out of the pots, so we're going to move some things around. Okay, where's... Warpstone on the wet palette so I can get these barrels and that tube painted up. Hey James, how's it going, man? Hello, Megan. How's it going? I'm doing all right. A little tired, but overall excited because I have a bunch of these just showed up a few days ago. So, got that, this one, and a couple of them scattered out here, there, and everywhere. But I got a bunch of new speed paint. Thank you, Tanner. Really excited to get this one painted up because I like this model a lot. Just more of, oh, I want to be careful because I want to make sure I get the details right on how I want them. But overall, been good. I was a little miffed because I wanted to stream last night, but for some reason my phone just didn't have signal at all. So I don't know what happened, but I wasn't able to stream. Thank you, Megan. Thank you. Let's see. But yeah, just trying to be careful because I'm also going to experiment a little bit because I want to make this look dirty and have a little bit of flair to it. So I think I might do, I'm either going to do the ghoul or I'm going to do the algae speed paint. I want to get this like super thin and put it like on a few areas to make it look like it's a little dirty. And then I want to try having maybe the ghoul be around the gun barrels to see if maybe that gives off a nice glow effect from the surrounding area. Oh yeah. I need to make sure that it's warpstone being used. I like green. Green and purple like my favorite colors. So purple robes, green for the warpstone energy. It's a perfect combination for me. However, the main issue is I just need to actually finish a set of these. Because I have, the Doom Flayers. I've got the Ratling Warpblaster. I also have a box that I never finished of my Acolyte Globadiers that I started. I haven't finished them, which is a shame because I even kit bashed some of them to have a little bit more fun. I just never actually finished them. Thank you. But yeah, so my attention keeps getting changed to different things, but I just wanted to paint a little bit because I've been working on video for an anime so I can do my anime review videos again. Have not been able to actually hammer one out in a while, but I got the recording done. I just need to finish editing the video so I can post it soon. But that'll be for a while or so. Bone black is a color I found that pops the metal just a bit better for the worn. Bone black. I don't know that color, so I'm going to have to look into that. Thank you, Tanner. Because what I've been doing for the most part is, where are my Giselles? Oh, I know I got those bastards around here somewhere. I was just looking at them. Ah, here they are. So in the past, what I've been doing is it's better on the other one, actually. I've been doing a layer of the Balthazar gold. Then I do like Runefang steel. And on top of that, I put another thing of Balthazar gold, so it has a bit of a shine to the top of it. And I like how that looks, but I want to make it look a little bit more dirty. I want to give it a bit of a grime look, but I don't have anything like Ratling grime. So I'm here to experiment just a little to see what I can get away with on these. Just mix ash in 20% green, 70% black, 10% ash. Wow, okay. Sorry about that. Somebody had to talk to me for a second. But thank you, Megan. I'm just trying to do something that helps me relax a little bit. I don't know. I found out this year I like painting minis, and so I just decided to commit to the bit and try some Warhammer stuff, and I've been falling in love with it every step of the way, so I'm just doing it. It's ironic because the only reason I'm doing the Skaven so much is because I can get away with putting these guys in my D&D campaign to use against my players. And so I'm just building Skaven faster than any other army, not because I expected to, but because they kind of work. Oh, this model. This model is also difficult to paint just because there's so many details in here. If I knew how weird and tight everything was going to be, I would have definitely painted this in a sub-assembly before I glued it all together. Just because gluing all this together and then trying to paint it, yeah, no, not necessarily the easiest way to go about this. I would argue it's not even the smartest way to go about this. However, I am not smart, so we are just learning as we go. All right. Well, thank you for stopping by, Megan. Take care now, and I'll see you if I ever see you again. Next for the Skaven army. I'm not sure because I don't know what I'm going to do. Because I'm kind of just building these to have fun with building and painting the minis. But I think another pair of these guys, because I like how the Doom Flayers look. However, since I glued everything together first before painting, I'm not going to get a lot of good details on the inside of this, and that's going to bother me. So I want to give it another go around where I paint these in sub-assembly and then glue them together. So I want to try that. After that, I think I'm going to get... I might get another box of the Acolyte Globadiers just so I can kit bash them a bit more. Because I liked building them minus the hands. So if I can kit bash and change some of the hand positions, I might have a little bit more fun with that. And then I'm probably going to get another box or two of the Warplock Giselles, because I really like these sets. And once I get some more Milliput, I should be able to change the bases a little bit, because recently, as I was out and about for other shenanigans, I bought a couple things. I got some bark chips that I can use on my base, so I'm going to use quite a bit of this for some basing with my Milliput. I also found some small rocks and some larger rocks, so I can use those on the bases as well. And then, like I was showing you last stream, I found shiny rocks to add accent and color differentiation for my minis. So the name of the game right now is I'm just building these models initially so I can see what I can get away with. So that way in my next few go-abouts with these models, I want to try to get the bases to be a bit more dynamic. Because one thing I want to do is I'm probably going to build this model again, because I want to get into one of these, because putting it together first and then painting was a bad idea. What I want to do is I want to get another one of these. I'm going to cut it off right here, fill in with some milliput to angle this a bit more forward, so I can have these guys going on an uphill. So the slaves are dragging this uphill, and he's already looking over the hill just to shoot over everything. I kind of want to try that because I think that would be really fun to do as well. That's kind of my idea for the next part of the Skaven army. And I might get a Doom Wheel because the Doom Wheel looks fun. It's got a lot of stuff on it that just makes it look outrageous. And then I also, after getting a Doom Wheel, I'm thinking about getting a Claw Lord on a Gnaw Beast. Because the Claw Lord just looks so good as a model. I really want one. He's expensive as hell because he's like $72 or so on like the official Games Workshop website. But it looks so good. I definitely want one. Thank you. Now that I've kind of gotten my hands on some of these minis, I have an idea on what I want to try. It's just more of, will they all work? Because for one of them, I was building this guy. I built this one with my brother, had a lot of fun building it as a test drive. This one, my friend convinced me I should kit bash to a new sword. So, because I've been kit bashing with the Plague Monk box. Oh crap, when did he get that green on him? I'm going to have to fix that. That's not good. But I've been kit bashing with the Plague Monk box. And so I took a sword from there and replaced his hand with that sword. So he's got the Rat Skull sword. So he's got a bit of a curved blade and a curved handle inlaid with him as he's going forward, just to get some flavor. So I'm hoping once I get some more of these guys, I'll be able to kit bash a little bit. I want to see if I can get one that looks like this is going mid-air or off a wall, just so that way it's a bit more off to the side and more dynamic. So I can make it a bit more imposing. But that all depends on the shenanigans I get up to. Because I definitely have ideas, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to execute them just right. But I'm still willing to I still want to take a stab at it regardless. I also want to get some rat ogres. I don't know much about the tabletop for the Skaven when it comes to rat ogres, but I like how the rat ogres look. And I think they would just be fun to build and paint. So I definitely want to get a few of them as well. What was that one? Red, bone. Okay. The greens will stay over there for now. Then let's try a new paint out. I have no idea how well this one's going to work. But of my new paints, I got a dark wood speed paint, and I want to see how it looks. Because normally with the wood textures on my Skaven stuff, I've been mixing in XV88 with Wraithbone to give it more of like a kind of like a dead white wood look. So it's like more like a, is it a beech or a birch? I don't remember the difference in I don't remember the official name. I know it's something that starts with a B. I just can't remember the name off the top of my head. But I want to give it a white wood look just so it pops out from all the browns and the other colors. So it still looks dirty, but it's not brown on brown on brown, you know? At least that was the idea. So now I'm going to try a little bit of this and see how that speed paint works. Thank you, Trax. Thank you. It looks okay. Though I'm gonna have to layer something else and then throw that speed paint on. I think I'm gonna stick with my normal thing. I'm just gonna get some more XV88 on my palette so I can mix it with Wraithbone. Because I'm not sure I want dark wood on all of that. Especially because if I do like a regular brown wood with all the Balthazar gold, it just, I don't know, I feel like it just won't stand out well enough. So, one sec, I just need to load up my brush and get some stuff on my palette. Get that paint mixed up and I'll be back in business. Oh. But yeah. Kind of just where I'm at right now. Because most of today I had to go to a work meeting, even though I was supposed to have today off. They just have those meetings once a month where we have to do our mandatory training. So I was there, signed up, I sat down, shut up, and I just let everybody talk through the meeting. I didn't care for the most part. And then I revised a script I'm working on for a video, which I talked about in the last stream for those who were there. It was the Call of the Night one. But I also finished a video script talking about kyber crystals with Star Wars. Because a while back when the Acolyte happened, I don't know if anybody remembers or cares about Star Wars, but there was that whole debacle of the, I'm going to call it the Mood Ring lightsaber. That was kind of a whole thing back then. I made a script to talk about like, hey, here's what I like and dislike about the whole color change on the kyber crystal stuff that Disney introduced, but I never actually made the video. However, the script was basically, like, all I did was just fix a few typos, rehash it out, and I'm just gonna do that video, because honestly, I really should. My best performing video was on Star Wars, and I love Star Wars. I just don't like what Disney's been doing with it. So, struck well. I should have struck when the iron was hot. Oh, hey, let's go, Mr. Sellers. That's awesome. That's exciting, man. I'm glad you got it. Okay. But no, that's awesome, man. How did it all go overall? How'd you feel about it? Because I assume getting the spot means it went over well, but how'd you feel about it overall? Any reflections? Any, here's what I would have done better, here's what I did, here's what I think I did well, here's what I think I might have done bad. What's your thoughts on it so far? Yeah. I don't know. There's a, because for those who were there when the whole Acolyte debacle was happening, it basically just came down to two camps of thought, which was, why was the lightsaber acting like a mood ring? And why does, if it works like a mood ring in the way that it did then, how come Anakin's lightsaber stayed blue during the raid on the Jedi Temple during Operation Nightfall? Because, you know, killing children would definitely warrant a lightsaber changing colors, or so many would assume. But I don't know. Because initially I like the idea of the kyber crystals being corrupted to use as from the Force user. I like the idea behind it. I don't like how it's being handled now, though, which is ironic because it's like the one Disney change that I could say I liked, and they really just mishandled it in the worst way possible. Oh, this paint's too watered down. Gosh dang it. Okay. Move my brush to the side. I'm going to try to dry all this stuff so I can try painting again. This is just annoying. I did not think I had that much water on my palette. I was apparently very wrong. Let's try. Well, that's good. I mean, I would hope so. I'd be a little bit more confused if you were depressed now that you got it. But hey, I'm glad that hard work does pay off. Oh, most people are. Okay. Really? You did? Well, I'm glad it seemed to work out. At least I hope it did. Really? Ah. All right, man. Take care. I'm glad you're able to get it, that everything worked out. But I hope you have a good night, and I hope everything keeps working out for you, man. Take care. Most likely not. I have work tomorrow, and normally with work, what I do is I finish my shift at work, and then I go to the gym, and then I just go to sleep. I wanted to stream last night, but my phone just wasn't working, so I wasn't able to make it last night. So tonight's probably the only time I can stream this week. If I get lucky, maybe I'll try to stream on Sunday. Maybe, question mark. It depends on how late I stay up with my friends. But I'll see. I'm also trying to see if I can get back to doing waiting rooms, so that way I can give you guys a heads up on when I'm actually able to stream, because I'd like to be able to do that again. But yeah, bit by bit, we'll figure it out. Or at least I'll figure it out, because I have to. I am the streamer, which still feels weird to think about. But I think that's just because I never really did streaming up until recently. So probably I should be able to get used to it eventually. Maybe. Right? Because that's how it works. With repetition, you figure things out. Oh, why can't my camera focus? The wood seems okay. I'm not the biggest fan of this mixture, but provides a decent base layer for now. I need to retouch up this paint though, but too much water got in. But I'd say now is probably good as time as any just to break out the speed paint and try to get some green on here to make it look a little dirty. So I've never really used this color before. What I'm hoping to do is I want to get some green on here just to make it look a little bit dirtier though. A little bit of a muddy texture. So we will see how this works. If it works well, awesome. If not, lesson learned, I guess. Okay. Just need to really thin this out because I do not want too much on here. Oh, crap. That's too much water. Hello, how's it going, Spark? I'm just trying to get some extra color added onto this. Turns out I really like how this green interacts with the gold. I'm doing all right. Just excited to finally be able to stream again and being able to get a little bit of stuff on here. Because I got a bunch of new speed paints and I really wanted to try them out. Yeah, it's Warhammer. Right now, I'm mostly doing the Age of Sigmar stuff because I play D&D, and as the DM for a campaign, I've been doing a lot of stuff with the Wild West. And so thankfully, Rats with Guns apparently works really well in a fantasy setting that allows guns. So Just trying to get some more bad guys for my party to shoot at. And so far, been enjoying the process. Goodness gracious, this green color is doing better than I expected. Like, I had hopes it would make, like, the gun look a little grimy. But this color is... I don't know how well the camera's picking up on this, just because of the shine from the metallic paint, but it's going from, like, a very vibrant gold to a more subdued, grimy look. That's exactly what I was hoping for. So I am beyond elated right now, because this is working exactly how I needed it to. It's pulling up in areas to show where the gunk normally would go, while also just giving a decent coloration for what I need. I think I got a bunch of water in my paint, though. I'm going to have to get a bit of thicker mix. Put that down for a second so I can get some more of that green out in an area that's not flooded on my wet palette. I feel like that's the thing. It's not 40K. Nah, for the 40K stuff, I've got my... I still need to finish doing my Dark Krakens. Because I got some stuff here. I've also got my Sisters of Battle faction that's going with them. I've not been able to finish those guys just yet. For the most recent 40K stuff, I've got my aggressors, and I have a squad of eradicators that I've been using. But I got Skaven on a whim because I thought it'd be fun to get them. And because with D&D, my party's currently in a setting that allows guns. So having rats with guns as the antagonist kind of just works in its own right. So just been buying a bunch of extra Skaven so that way my party has new things to shoot at on the tabletop when they go out in battle for D&D. So just working on getting more of the rat boys, because I wasn't the most interested in fantasy, but I've taken some time to learn the lore a little bit, and I've gotten into it more and more. But I don't know. Just some of the factions just don't scream to me that much. They're not bad. They're just not as interesting to me. Like 40K, most of the factions are really interesting. I like them a lot. I just don't know a whole lot of the lore behind most of the factions in fantasy. That I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying there's just not a lot to go off of. So I just haven't done much with it. Oh, I like Halo. I grew up on on the older games and reading the books of Halo back in the day. My favorite game of the series is Reach. I liked Reach a lot. I also liked ODST. The original trilogy is really good, but there's just something about ODST and Reach that just spoke to me a lot more. But I liked Halo. I haven't liked... Oh, hey, Silver, how's it going? But yeah, as far as Halo goes, I haven't liked anything really past Reach. 4 wasn't bad, I just didn't like it that much as a game. Because gameplay-wise, I don't like fighting the Prometheans. They were always bullet sponges, and I just don't care for that. Because even though on the harder difficulties, the grunts are not that bad of a bullet sponge, but everything against the Prometheans really just felt like a slog to shoot at, and I really hated it. Like, I don't mind the narrative that 4 made, besides a few things that 343 did, but I wasn't the biggest fan of the gameplay of 4. 5 just sucked. Don't need to say much more outside of that. I like Buck as a character. They did not do him right. They did not do that poor man right. But yeah, wasn't like, I don't mind the story behind 4. I just thank you, Silver. I'm experimenting with the new speed paint to kind of make the metal look a bit more dirty, so that way the gold isn't perfect and pristine, because nothing the rats touch and keep is pristine. Chief is good. Again, as far as Chief is, I have no problem with what they did with Chief for the most part in the series. I just don't like how 343 changed the rest of the series outside of Chief. But I will say, a main component of why I don't like the more modern Halo stuff really just boils down to modern Halo doesn't feel like a military fantasy anymore. Like, it doesn't feel like a sci-fi military, because they don't seem to act like an actual military would. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, it's kind of off-putting where it's like, oh yeah, here's a military faction. Here's a military setting. And nobody acts like rank and file. Like, I like sci-fi settings. I like military settings. But if your military feels more like it's a bunch of teenagers saying screw you and running around with middle fingers, rather than a rank and file regimented military that's actually disciplined, it's not as appealing to me as a setting, you know? It's kind of why I don't like how the stormtroopers have just been nerfed over time to be something of a somewhat competent threat to So, I don't know. I just think modern day writing really just doesn't do militaries well, because they don't feel like an actual military, just more of, it's an organization loosely organized where we can just say screw you and not face any consequences for our actions. So, definitely my point of contention. But that is why I have not been buying, playing, or supporting the new stuff. I got the giant plague sword and arm hand sculpted from a custom Nurgle Erastus Knight. Ooh, on a Cerastus Knight. Oh, okay. I like it. I like the idea. I can imagine that's very... I would imagine that was a very long sculpting process, but I am very curious to see how that turned out. You're from USA? Yeah, I'm from the United States. I'm from the Pacific Northwest. Man, I wish this thing would focus a bit. Maybe the light's just too intense. Okay, well, that seems to be focusing better, so we're going to go with that, I guess. Oh, nice. Okay, that focuses better if I hold it like that. Okay, so that's what we're working with. Okay. I haven't put the warp stone glow in those pockets there, so I'm going to avoid that side. So we're just going to go to here first. Honestly, weather over here, normally rainy. We have not had rain for a while, though, so we're all feeling weird. I will say, though, with everything here, I think I'm going to get addicted to this algae green speed paint, because this thing is working so well with weathering and giving it a grimy look. Especially because one thing I want to do is I want to kit bash a bunch of stuff for my I want to get like a small group of Imperial Guard so I can kit bash them. So that way I have like an underwater guard legion that works with my Dark Krakens. This green really would just go on a lot of the vehicles. Like I think this is like the perfect thing that I've been looking for. So I am going to abuse the ever-loving crap out of this poor paint. Raining here and killing me. Hey man, I'm from the Pacific Northwest. If it's not raining, it's weird. So for me, we haven't had rain in a while, and I miss my liquid sunshine. All right, I can hold on for a minute, but I don't know about how too much longer. Let's get this properly weathered and looking old. Honestly, I'm very tempted to buy some Death Guard just so I can throw this green over them just to see how well it works for like a Horus Heresy Death Guard where they have a little bit of corruption but not too much. Really curious to see how that would work. Ah, okay. Zdravutsia, brat. All right, thank you. Have a good night, man. Take care. Thanks for stopping by. I hope everything goes well, though. I mean, that's what a lot of people say. I don't know enough about anything in Russia's politics that if it's not a country of like my personal thing is if it's not a country I've lived in, I don't hold a opinion on their politics just because I haven't lived there and I don't know the culture and how things are. So when it comes to politics, I keep my stuff limited to Mexico and the US because I've lived in those countries. And so I feel a bit more comfortable with them. People definitely say what they say. I just don't know enough to really say anything about how Russia is, though. You know, not my country, not my government to criticize, but I also just don't pay enough attention. He doesn't us free reign. Okay. Like I said, man, I don't know. I do not know, and I will not pretend to know about how Russia goes about doing things. Never lived in the country. I don't speak the language. I don't know too many people. Just it's just not my place to hold an opinion on that. Thank you, man. Just trying to get by. I wish my camera would focus a bit so I could show this off a bit more. Because I really do like how the grime is turning out on this screen. Definitely made everything aged up and look dirty. That's what I'm excited about. Oh. Clean off this brush for a second. Honestly, the silver dry brush probably would look really good, yeah. And I do have an actual dry brush now, so I could probably make that look a lot better. So we got the green in here, so I can start getting that aged now. Oh, I'm hoping so. Because one of my hopes is that the Skaven are brought into 40k. Because I think they would be a fun addition. And I just like their aesthetic a lot. Just gonna clean my brush off and then we'll start applying everything again. Oh yeah? Depends. I'm not typically a chaotic person. I enjoy a little bit of chaos from time to time, but it kind of just depends. When it comes to games or play style, it just depends on how everything plays, and I'll just choose what's fun from there. I do like chaos from time to time. I think it's good, but not everybody really thrives in chaos. Personally, when it comes to real life, I am just very tame because I'm a very low energy person. But things happen, and I just adapt to chaos more than anything else. So I wouldn't necessarily say I'm personally chaotic, just more of I can roll with the punches more than anything else. Man, I really gotta turn off notifications for Lemonade. I got it for cooking recipes, and it keeps popping up with random suggestions of things I don't want to look at. Boy. Okay. To corn, huh? Oh, okay. I'm either for the Emperor or for the Great Horned Rat. Not really an enjoyer of the Chaos Gods that much. World Eaters are based, but not my thing. Blood for the Blood God. Skulls for the Skull Throne. Milk for the Cornflakes. Oh, sorry. Okay. Gonna get a bit more brown. I'm gonna try it again to get the brown and my wood color mixed correctly this time. Hopefully, because I lost a lot of paint from that water seeping in. Have I had a beer? Not in many years. Not a big. I don't drink alcohol. Not a big fan of beer when I tried it. How do you treat blacks in USA? I mean, they're people. So I don't really treat them any differently than I treat any other person I talk to. We're just gonna... Yeah, I'm just gonna say this one's my guy. You're posting way too much cringe. I don't mind questions, but I don't know why you would ask stuff like that. And I'm kind of nervous about where that conversation's gonna go. But for the crime of posting too much cringe, we're just gonna go with that. Honestly, I'm just trying to be safe with that. I don't want to be mean. It's just I can't help but feel like that was a definite child. And look, nothing against children, but I am an adult streamer and I do talk about adult topics. I don't necessarily like to entertain having children in my chat. Like I'm not gonna ban him, but that one question was just so out of left field for me that I'm like, I don't know if I should be encouraging that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I only did it for 10 minutes. So if he sticks around and starts posting stuff again, we'll see what happens. If he's a normal Gen Alpha kid, probably be gone within 30 seconds of not being able to post anything. So we'll see how it goes. I'm just trying to relax and paint fantasy figures. Too much real world stuff getting in there. I don't mind real world stuff from time to time, but I don't feel comfortable discussing real world stuff with children. Like, I feel like that's something his parents should be talking about with him, not necessarily me, you know? Yeah, no, very much so. If I want to do with real life stuff, I can do streams talking about real life stuff. I'm just here to relax and do Warhammer. Talk about the fantasy, talk about literally anything else. Especially because most of my stuff is just talking about anime and sci-fi. So I'm not entirely sure, but again, just felt weird. But yeah. So what are you up to in your D&D? Right now, my party is deciding to delve into the mines. Basically, there was a side quest that I kind of half offered them as a story lead like months ago of, hey, so the gold mine in our area and the town they're staying in was closed off because somebody was finding some cursed gold. And so there are a bunch of quote unquote archaeologists who are coming up from the south that were going to look into everything. So they ordered that the mines be closed and nobody go in. My party hasn't really been acting on that story until just recently, and they almost got sidetracked into a different side quest. But now they're going into the mines to find the city that they found by accident. Originally, this is going to be a story for the rogue. However, since the rogue doesn't really roleplay in the story, I'm kind of giving it to a couple other people, and I'm just going to mix their backstories into it. Because if she's not going to roleplay, that's fine. But I'm not going to give her a story-focused segment if she's not going to do it, you know? So, with all of that, I've just been trying to get her and the rest of the party to go into the mines. Now that they're going in the mines, it's mostly just going to be, oh, hey, it's a lost dwarven civilization. What happens when we touch this cursed gold? And they're just going to have a little bit of fun exploring a lost ancient kingdom. I'm hoping to get everything set up so that way I can introduce a few NPCs and a few problems that are going to start affecting the area soon, but we'll see where my party goes with it, who they choose to help, and where they go. Because whatever they work on, I just have to roll with it. Because I also have an Underdark Mafia that's controlling a lot of stuff that may or may not be related to everything. I haven't fully decided if I'm going to have the Underdark Mafia in control of what's going on in these shenanigans in the mines, but I kind of am leaning towards it, just because ancient lost civilization of the dwarves, well, perfect stone fortress underground that's heavily fortified. Just got to set up shop and you don't have to worry about it. Don't worry about why the dwarves disappeared. Just build up what you have. You found it. Use it. You know, that kind of stuff. Because so far I've got 3 crime boss families, and the party unknowingly helped one of the 3. And so now they can either stick with the family they already helped without knowing when they find out now that they found out it's a crime family, or they can help one of the other 3. It'll depend on what they choose and who they want to help, but I think I know who they're going to help, knowing them. But at the same time, it's D&D. You can only herd cats so effectively. Because I know as soon as I look away for a second, they're going to choose something that's going to throw me off. I'm like, okay, I guess we're doing that now. But yeah, that's kind of where the party's at right now. I'm trying to get them set up for that. I also have a quest line going on in a coastal city that they'll have to take a train to get to. Or they were supposed to take a train to get to. Depends if the teleporter decides to teleport them there or not. But that I'm setting up for the Ranger's backstory, so I can get them to go explore a little bit and work on just a few jobs, because they really haven't worked a job or a quest in a while. They've been doing side quests, yes, but not anything that really earns them money. And so most of the party's broke. One of them is in debt to the barbarian, and has been for like the majority of this campaign playthrough, which I find hilarious that the barbarian is the one who's collecting debts on the party members. But such is D&D. But we've been having a lot of fun with this one, and I'm excited to see what they do and how we go about solving some of the problems that I'm going to throw at them. I almost got a TPK, except the party happened to have a little animal that can solo an entire hallway full of creatures, because I gave him a Petsukos. In my defense, befriending the Petsukos was an animal handling roll where you needed a 25 to succeed. The ranger got a 27, so she earned it. But yeah, the Petsukos killed like 23 giant spiders in one shot in a hallway where there was like, I think in total I threw 45 or so at the party. So they call him Sir Sprinkles. And so Sir Sprinkles saved the party from probably a lot of suffering. Currently, my party has their own mini forum. I'm just in the middle of kit bashing this one so I can give them something that's a bit more representative of what it looks like. But I never got around to painting this one, and I really need to. And so that's just kind of what the party's been up to so far. Oh, and one of my party members got kidnapped for a minute and decided, how do I get out of a trap full of tar and fire? I know, I'm going to pour water on it. So a grease fire had water thrown on it. It blew up the building and her, which did get the party to go save her, but she also is playing a Harangon and got a wax. And because I like to play with Feywild stuff, kind of just messing with my party, I gave her access to the homebrew spell Instant Brazilian Wax for her troubles. She's never going to cast it, but it is available for her. Oh yeah, man. we hope for the best. We'll get whatever we can. One of my teachers is DMing. He almost done a TPK. There we go. TPKs are needed for D&D. As Grand Moff Tarkin once said, fear will keep them in line. And for Coconuticus over there, I've never actually played with my Skaven on the tabletop. Because so far I've got a Ratling Warpblaster, a group of Doom Flayers, and then an almost painted but not quite finished group of Acolyte Globadiers. And then I've got 2 minis out of a box of 20 for the Plague Monks. So I'm still building this army. It's a ragtag group. I'm mostly just building this because they just happen to be perfect as evil NPCs for my D&D campaign, because it's set in the Wild West. So with guns being allowed, the Skaven are kind of the perfect comedic foil just for my setting. That, and also it gives me an excuse to buy more Warhammer minis. Because originally I was just building a Dark Kraken army because I was experimenting with getting black armor and how to make that work better. However, with everything that's happening, the rats have become my new priority. I didn't expect it, but I've definitely enjoyed it a lot. I don't know, there's something fun about painting the rats. It's also just challenging in the right ways for my brain. But I don't know, there is something that I understand that the Ratling Warpblasters are supposed to replace the Ratling guns, but I kind of want to get my hands on some of the old Ratling gun models. Just because there's something nice about having just 2 rats, one of them carrying the gun, the other carrying the ammo. It was simple, but it was fun. For this one, I like it with how over the top it is, but it's not necessarily my favorite. However, there's no way I could, once I saw this model, there's no way I could just ignore this either. Because this is way too cool of a model. However, as I have learned and said previously, I'm going to buy this again, and I'm going to paint this thing in segments. I am not building it first and then assembling it, and then painting it. Because I'm running into the same issue with these guys. My brushes won't work on getting on the inside. So on the outside, it's going to look fine with painting it. The inside's going to suffer, though, and I'm always going to remember that. So I need to remember with Skaven vehicles, I'm painting them in groups. I'm painting them in segments and then gluing them together. Honestly, base takes Skaven are a great fantasy mad science foil faction. For my game's Age of Sigmar, Warpblaster 66% the cost of a unit of 3 with 33% of the output. Somehow that makes sense. Because with what I've seen with Games Workshop on how they've balanced their games, it really comes down to you either get a really good unit for a good cost, or you get kind of a middle-of-the-road unit depending on the cost. Cost really just dictates how viable it is. And a lot of stuff I see is that I've heard that there have been a lot of Skaven nerfs, not necessarily because the rules make them worse, but more of they just don't have the high risk, high reward thing that they normally are known for. Of hey, because I know that with the Ratling guns, that they got rid of the fact that you can't overcharge the Ratling guns anymore, which is dumb because the entire point of Skaven tech is they will explode if improperly used or properly used, and they just explode anyway. So it's something I've definitely kept in mind when building this. But there's definitely some parts where I'm yeah, I'm excited to play this eventually, depending on whatever game store in my area would have a table for it. I just don't know if I'm ever going to be able to play Age of Sigmar or Warhammer in general. Because so far, all my local game stores are Magic the Gathering based, which for me is great. I like playing Magic the Gathering. I'm building so many decks right now that I should probably do an actual video or a stream where I explain my decks on what I have and what I'm building. But that's going to take a while. And I'm also still trying to technically finish working on my other videos. But also because I would like to play with my 40k army, because I've got the start of a Space Marine army. I've got a group of Eradicators and Aggressors. I still need to finish my Jump Pack Intercessors that I've turned into mobility packs for underwater shenanigans. But then I also got a squad of Sisters of Battle started up, so working with what I can. Yeah, that's just kind of mostly what I've been working on with these guys, is just I like having them around. I think the minis are just really fun, and I think they're cool. But I don't know, like, I am convinced that if I'm ever going to play Warhammer, either it needs to explode in my local area, or I'm just going to have to start buying stuff so I can eventually just take my stuff to a convention sometime. Which is going to be weird, because I've never actually played a game of 40k yet. Like, I played Tacticus on my phone for a while, but got burnt out because the guy who was in charge of my guild left me in charge of it without asking and just said, all right, have fun, bye. And I just got burnt out because I was supposed to be leading the charge. I was not dedicated enough to that game to be a guild leader. But who knows, because I do not make enough money or make a gaming shop. I mean, eventually I want to have a game shop that I open up in my area. There's a lot of them in my area, though. So I don't... If I get lucky, I'll try, because I'd like to. But I got no idea. For Age of Sigmar, I recommend bullying your friends to get Spearhead. Games are nice and short, and it's a fantastic representation of 2000 point Age of Sigmar. I mean, I can try. So far, the only friend I know who builds and does anything Warhammer, he mostly just does the 40k stuff. So he's got a lot of Space Marines. He and his brother got the Combat Patrol for the, like, they split it for the Noise Marines. And so I need to get a Combat Patrol or something similar built, because he's got the Chaos stuff. And I like what he's got so far, because he's really good, and he kit bashes heavy. Like, he's heavy into kit bash. But he's more into Gundam than Warhammer, so I can only be so excited. But I like what he builds, and I like what he paints. I'm just trying to convince him to do a little bit more. Then what color did I do the eyes on my other Skaven? Hold on. His eyes, I didn't even color yet. I know there was somebody. Okay, so I did green for his eyes. Didn't I do another color? Yeah, I did a purple for his. I'm trying to look at this guy up top. I want to figure out what color I want to do for his eyes. I don't want to do red for him, because I do red for the regular rats without masks. And so what I would like to do is just put red on the slave rats. But then for the actual boss, I want to give him a different color eye. I've done green before, and it's the same green as all the Warpstone stuff, so it technically makes sense. But the Warpblaster also has a scope, which has, if my camera will focus. There you go. But this has got a scope, so I'm going to throw the green on the scope already. So I'm trying to think of what I want to do for... What color do I want on that? Let's see. Amethyst is too red of a purple. Do I have anything that would work better? Because blueberry's this color, right? That's not vibrant enough. What did I give this guy for colors? Because it got purple in that eye, but I don't remember. Thanks, Mythican. I'm just trying to figure out what color I want to do for the mask on the rat here. Because I do red for the guys without masks on. I'm trying to think of a good color for his eyes to glow. I'm just going through all my paints right now because I am not sure what would look well with all of this. Okay, I'm gonna try, because on one of my models, I've got this witch purple. So I'm gonna try to see how that looks, because I liked it on the other model. So this might work, or it might not. I'm gonna try it though. For mine, I did a red scope and green eyes, but I also used some leftover Stormfield cables to hook them into the tank like a Globadier. Ah, okay. I like that. Then hold on, let me find my other Giselle real fast. Because what I did in the past is, for my best attempt, when I used this color scheme, is I did green on his eye here with that mask. But then with this guy, I did green on the scope. And then I threw red, like a red crosshair. I don't think my camera's going to pick it up. Not well, at least. But I threw a red crosshair on the scope. So I was going to do green on the scope again just because I liked it, just to keep consistency with my army. But I don't know. Because there's a lot of ways this can all go, and I'm not entirely sure. I do want to get some more Globadiers, though, because I liked kit bashing, because I bought some Space Shark bits that I bought off of Etsy. Like, this is supposed to be a shark sword. It kind of just worked really well with the rat, though. So I want to kit bash a little bit more of my, for a new kit of Globadiers. My favorite kit bash was one out of necessity, because this hand kept snapping off, and so I just cut off half the arm, replace it with a golden chain, and then put a globe that snapped off a backpack onto him, so that way he's launching it. Oh, thank you for the Giselles. The Giselles definitely... The Giselles convinced me that I need to keep building Skaven. I wasn't so sure, but the Giselles were so fun that I just kind of had to keep going. A little bit more paint on that brush, because that is thin. Okay. Honestly, it's a red or purple, but it's not too intense because I don't have a lot of reds. I kind of like how that turned out, honestly. I am a little surprised. Okay, so which purple it is for the eyes on these guys? Which reminds me, just gonna, we're doing Skaven. I'll just update this guy's eyes. Okay. His eyes are definitely looking better. So I do know that I want to get another box of Giselles, mostly because I only got to make 2 out of the 3 Giselles that were in the box that I bought. The reason why is because I was hanging out with a few friends, and to incentivize my friends to allow me to do this, basically we were hanging out together and I was building and painting minis, and I just told them, hey, out of my sprues, any mini you build, you get to keep. And so my friend really liked the rats, and the only box of rats I had were the Giselles at the time. So these are the 2 that I have, and then she made the other one that came in the box. So I've got these 2, but then I'm going to buy another box so I can make another 3, so I can have 5. Because I really liked building the Giselles. They were really nice, but I really want to see if I can change like the terrain on them a little bit, so that I can have a bit more fun with building and basing. Because I just haven't done a whole lot with basing. Like, most of my basing stuff has been, I took a rock from outside, cleaned it off, I put a Space Marine on top while giving him a bit of a edge pose. I took some bits that I bought from Etsy for an underwater theme, so that my guys looked like they were in the ocean rather than flying in the sky, being a ocean world chapter. And then, oh, milliput for sand, and then there's some stuff on a dry lake bed. Because I'm hoping one day, what I want to do is I got, where did I put the box? No, because I know I got a Space Marine built from it. Huh. Oh, there he is. My Space Shark that I'm going to make. Basically, I want to get a group of these guys built up, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some cure, like a UV cure resin. So I want to paint them, then I want to stick them down like up to about their knees or so in UV resin to make it look like they're going through like a river or the shallows of the ocean. At least that's the idea so far. So I'm hoping to do that with my guys, but we will see when that happens, because for now I don't have the money for UV cure resin to experiment with. Then, okay. I like everything so far, so I'm going to just go to the next step of the rats, and I'm just going to get them detailed and colored up. Because thankfully, painting brown rats is super easy because I only need 2 paints to do it. At least that's all I use. So that brush over here. I use XV88 for the base. And then on top of that, I use my snakebite contrast leather. Because this paint just works really well for detailing the rats. That it's just what I need. Okay. A little bit more. The one thing that I'm hoping to try out eventually is that, for the most part, I've got brown rats figured out, but I want to try to get some gray, white, and black rats done, because I'm not sure how to detail their fur so that they pop out nearly as well as the brown rats. Because the brown ones have basically got my formula figured out. It's just XV88 with a little bit of snakebite leather on top to really emphasize everything. But I don't know how I would go about doing white rats just yet. So that's kind of on my next thing is I want to experiment on the fur just to try to get more of that going. Okay. I think that's enough detail for the rats for now. Let's try making that wood concoction once again. Hopefully this time I don't mess it up by accidentally adding too much water. And then I'm probably just going to try to paint up the wood, and I'm going to call it a night from there. Because I'm definitely getting a little tired, but I also need to do some stuff. Maybe you can make the little Skaven symbol silver. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I'd have to recoat everything with the algae green, but yeah. I forgot about the symbols on the front. Yeah, that would work. Oh, thank you for the suggestion, James. That actually makes a lot of sense, actually, now that I think about it. Just that on the back as well. All right. Stuff, gonna get some Wraithbone, mix this in over here. And I gotta clean off my brush so I can get more. Man, this wood combination is gonna cost me so much Wraithbone. But yeah, no, you're right. It definitely will add more colors. And it'll also pop in the front, which will give a good accent. Really show off the details on the front. It'll make everything look just a bit more Magitech. Okay. Okay, that's as much as that brush is going to do for now. Oh, that I haven't read the tip on yet, so I'm gonna. This one wet. Yeah. It'll definitely add more contrast to make them stick out more. Now it'll just be easier if I just do a base off the wood first, and I'll just go back and do the metal later. Yeah, so keeping these parts brighter, but a bit more green in the middle. Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I was experimenting with it. I was also just nervous that I might overdo it on the green, but yeah, no. Now that everything's dried out, I definitely agree with you. Just making it more green on the inside under layer while keeping the top two fine as is definitely will work. Just get some of this thrown on the wheel. for this one, I don't know about too many more ideas. I need to get the red done for the eyes on these guys, but that's going to be it for another day. I want to make this a little bit more darker, as you said. Gonna do silver on the runes on the front of the gun, right here, and then right back there. After that, I'm probably gonna throw down... I think what I'm gonna do right here is I'm gonna get some metal like done for the staples on the tube, but I also need to make sure that they look... I'm gonna make some of them look older and aged with the green, and others I'm gonna leave clean so that way it looks like they're constantly replacing them. And then once I'm done with everything here, I want to use... Hold on, where do I have it? I've got this textured technical paint for Armageddon Dust. I've used it before and it was really good. What I want to do with the Armageddon Dust is once I'm done with the rest of the mini, I'm going to cake a bunch of the Armageddon Dust right onto this wheel and the other wheels, and then just paint that and paint the base at the same time. So that way there's a bunch of like mud going off of it. Because I didn't really have enough milliput to do or experiment with the base on this one. So I want to at least give the impression that, yeah, they're rolling through something. And then if I get decent enough strokes with the Armageddon Dust, I should be able to make it so that there's like lines coming from the back here. That's kind of all of the ideas I have right now for this one. It's more of just trying to get everything done carefully enough that I don't have to go back and redo certain parts again. There's also just the fact that this is a very large mini, because normally I'm used to painting stuff like, oh, you know, this guy doesn't take too long, just a few layers and you're basically golden on everything else. Whereas, you know, Space Marine compared to this, there's a size difference here. So there's a lot I need to be careful with, because the more mistakes I make on this bad boy, the more noticeable it'll be, or it's just going to take an extra long time to course correct and fix everything. Which on the one hand is part of the fun and also the challenge of getting these more intricate models built and painted, which is definitely what I signed up for when I bought this. I knew what I was getting into. But that's also because I wanted to challenge myself and push my abilities for building and painting, because I'm definitely not super good at this yet. I mostly just do it because I find it fun and relaxing. But hopefully I don't, because although I like streaming, I gotta make sure I continue actually making my videos, because I do like making my videos, and I've got so many scripts written out that I actually need to turn into a video. Just have not set aside the time to do it. So I'm hoping I can just hammer it out. Yeah. But it is what it is. Because hopefully once I start uploading videos again, I can actually capitalize on the fact that I have a discount code, because I really have been bad at advertising that. And you know, I've got it. I should use it for all it's worth. But promoting, you know, promoting poggers on stream isn't exactly easy, just because I get so focused on this that I kind of forget, oh yeah, I'm partnered with them. I have a discount code. I should push that more often. And so I've also been sneaking into every single video that I've redone and been revising my scripts for of, hey, I need to have a segment where I actually plug this. Because, yeah, a few people have used my discount code since I got it, but, you know, that's just extremely lucky because I don't yet have a single video on my channel actually promoting it. I mostly just have me mentioning it in live streams, so that is something I'm gonna have to change a little bit. Oh, gonna have to go back and. Oh, I didn't even get all of the row, but that's still gray. That's not good. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and redo that. Oh. But I think I'm gonna call it good there. We've got a significant amount of progress done on this, and I am thankful for that because I have really wanted to tackle and get more of this done. And honestly, with all the details, I am really liking how he's turning out. So I'm just gonna call it good there because I'm already feeling my brain give out. Thank you guys for coming by and hanging out with me. And again, thank you especially to James for the suggestions on how to improve this mini, because I have not been entirely sure because I've mostly been experimenting, but it's definitely been helpful and interesting. So have a good night, guys. I'll see y'all whenever I see you next. Till then, take care.